So, in terms of like the actual product itself, do you see like bonds going on chain in the long term? Like,
Yeah,
how do you feel about like these on chain financial
yeah.
derivatives?
So I saw some projects were doing this. I mean, it makes sense. I guess all assets are probably going on chain at some point. I think it makes a lot of sense. When you put assets to go on chain, you create a global market, right? You know,
Hmm.
if you look at crypto exchanges, DeFi, it's a much more global market than trading, let's say, US stocks. It's not everyone that can trade US stocks. It's not a very simple market that you can just assess. Even though it's not that hard, it's not that easy. It's like in the middle, let's say. But crypto, everybody can just buy crypto unless it's banned or whatever, like China. Even though people in China still have crypto, which doesn't make sense, but the idea is it's a more global market. So it makes sense that assets come to on chain. At some point, maybe gonna buy apartments, buy houses on chain because it's much more easy to buy and sell, and to record the statements, right? Because if we're recording on chain, it's pretty nice and it's much more easy than doing it on a bunch of papers or whatever, right? So I see pretty much how assets going into on chain. It definitely has makes sense. So bonds is definitely
Right.
something that I already see coming up. I see a lot of projects building bonds at the moment. I saw one that they pretty much were pricing every bond that you wanted to create, something like that. I'm not pretty sure. Um, the thing about it though is that they're gonna be very because bonds themselves, if you're not talking about the biggest ones like U.S. rates, so U.S. Treasury bonds, they are not very liquid. So when you are bringing a very liquid market to to on chain, it's gonna be no one trading, right? It's gonna be a no man's land trading. So that's the issue about it. So that's why I don't see it gaining that much traction at the moment.
Yeah.
Because people that are not really bonds themselves, they are not something like besides the
Yeah.
main
It's
ones. They
almost
don't.
like the security tokens phase that we went through a few years ago.
Yeah,
The STO phase, where everyone thought that security tokens, including myself, thought that security tokens were going to be the next big thing, or they're going to put crypto on the map.
yeah,
But really, it's like, you can't like repackage a illiquid asset and think it's going to be just liquid
yeah.
automatically.
It doesn't work,
Uh,
bro.
yeah,
It's like you're picking up something that the real world most of the people don't care, and you put it on chain. People still not gonna care about it, right? It's not the fact. It's not the case of bonds. I'm not saying that, but the, beside the main ones, the other ones they don't really trade that much. In the most of the bonds, they trade over the counter between institutions, right? Because if you think
yeah,
about bonds, they are not so volatile products, right? So when you are thinking about not so volatile products, uh, the only people that will actually want to trade those are institutions because it involves a lot of money. So for them, 1% is a lot of money. For individuals, they don't care about 1%, right? The 2% or
yeah.
whatever. So I mean, they can't care about it. It's not something that you're gonna pay that
Like the
much
nominal
attention
value is
to.
not that
Yeah,
big.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not really. I wouldn't really be bullish on crypto projects bringing bonds. I think it's interesting, but it's not something that's gonna be huge or whatever. It's definitely something that's not gonna be small though. So if it's a very, let's say you are looking at a project that are bringing bonds to crypto, they have a product and they are pretty small, then it makes sense to invest. But if they are already, let's say, 1 billion market cap, I don't think that there is anyone just throwing numbers here, right? So if you have a project, sorry, with 1 billion
No worries.
market cap that is bringing bonds to crypto, then it's pretty much overvalued, and you're not gonna see 1 billion market cap crypto project bringing bonds anytime soon. In my opinion, it doesn't really make sense because bonds are not that liquid. There's not that much trading. besides institutions themselves. And I don't think they're gonna trade in on chain anytime soon, right? Unless you create a new market for retail to trade bonds. But I don't think retail is that interested in trading bonds.
No, not yet. I think it has to get cool like options did recently. But
Yeah,
the only way for that to happen is for people just to make like a shit ton of money over a short period of time, and
yeah,
then they'll start looking at it.
makes sense.
Like I remember when most of the world didn't know what options were, and
Yeah,
then like all of a sudden, I think was it 2020 when they took off or something
the thing about options though is that um,
amongst the
the
retail market.
yeah, the thing about options that institutions love it, that it's a easy asset to price, right?
Yeah,
It's not a complex asset to price, especially European European options. They are the easiest
yeah,
ones to price. It's pretty much a Black and Scholes formula that's perfect, and you just follow it, and it's perfect, right? But you look at American options, and it gets a little more complicated. But overall, it's a asset that
yeah,
is easy to price. So for institutions, for them, they bring a lot of liquidity because they know what it's pretty easily, what is definitely cheap or definitely expensive, right? So
yeah.
trading options for became very popular, I guess, for due to that, and they are pretty very volatile, right? So people like that. I guess that's why people like crypto.
Yeah, exactly. So there's the opportunity to make money.
Yeah,
That's what people are looking for.
yeah.
Once there's that big money, people go towards it. Um, but yeah, so like I guess like what